Back to Wines du Jour. We're having a great time this evening. We just started out here at McCormick and Schmick's, which is, I'm going to say, approximately a mile or a little bit less away from the Strip. You're right there. McCormick and Schmick's is the most popular fish and seafood and steak restaurant in this whole area. I want to talk with Mark Beeman. He is the winemaker at Parducci, Sketchbook, Paul Dolan Wines, and he is the man that says, wines that rock is what he's doing. Mark, are you with us?
I am.
Okay, good to hear from you. If you could speak up a little bit, I'd appreciate it. Everybody here's clapping for you. They've been anxiously awaiting to hear the person that has made these wines that we're tasting, and currently we're tasting the Sauvignon Blanc, which is one of my favorite white wines to go with food. So we're right in the ballpark. And in fact, your first wine, the way I understand it, was honey wine. Is that correct? Tell me a little bit about that.
There's a fellow that was in my village that I was at, and became friends with him, a guy named Ngoe, that delivered his product on the back of his bicycle.
Uh-huh.
And I tried some of it, and I thought, wow, this is fantastic stuff, and became kind of well-known for it. And so I thought that was pretty cool, and it stuck with me when I came back to the United States. And so I was kind of looking around trying to find out what I was going to do. The wine industry had exploded in Walla Walla, and every day there seems to be a new tasting room. And I thought to myself, wow, this is something I could really get into, because I grew up on a farm. Agriculture is in my bones. And the art side of it was something that certainly appealed to me. And then, of course, there is some geology definitely that's into it. When you talk about terroir, that always comes up.
Absolutely.
And then basically I got a haircut, put on a tie, and went to an interview with a little winery called Columbia Crest, which some of you guys may have heard of.
Maybe.
They took pity on this poor kid and took me in.
Great. That's good. Well, I know that agricultural, science, and art are three of your loves, and you're in the wine business. That's a good place. If you like those three things, it's certainly there. Now, sustainability. When you went to work at the Mendocino Wine Company, sustainability and let's call it organic and biodynamic thoughts were already in play when you went to work there in 2004. Am I right?
We had gotten certified, because you do need to get certification to be able to make organic wines.
Right.
That had just happened that year that I had showed up. And the sustainability and the organic and the biodynamic kind of came in along with that as part of our journey towards quality. So, and now here today, you know, we're certified on all those sort of levels, and we find ourselves with a lot of our products out there are coming from certified vineyards. It's really about quality for us, not just that stamp of organic or biodynamic.
Right, I understand. I want to ask you, you mentioned the word terroir a little earlier, and terroir is something that we talk about here on Wines du Jour quite often. And I know that up in Mendocino, the terroir is really not too bad for a lot of different varietals. How do you determine what piece of land, let's just say a vineyard that's available or the land to put a vineyard in is available? What makes you come up with whatever type of varietal that you want to plant in that particular vineyard? How do you go about doing that? And just in a short synopsis.
Well, luckily, a lot of the folks that are around here that grow grapes, because we grow our own, but we also contract grapes. And so when it comes to finding the right variety for the right property, the right scion, the right clone, rootstock, and all that, it's based upon just a lot of trial and error, and the fact that, and so there's an incredible wealth of information that's being shared from one person to the next, where it's like, hey, if you want to grow Sauvignon Blanc and you want to do the Muscat clone, well, you want to do it kind of more on the slope situation rather than doing it on the flat, because for these reasons. And that type of information is shared readily out here, because I think there's this mutual communal investment in it.
Right.
And so the terroir thing is it's definitely the physical thing that we all are paying attention to, where the vineyards go, but I think it also translates into some of the cultural practices that we do out here, and we just share a whole heap of a lot of information.
Exactly.
And I think that's a huge part of what the sense of terroir is about.
That's great. Well, you know, when Bonterra first came out, everybody was saying, what the heck is organic? You know, and now today, Bonterra is still flying high and doing a great job, but there's a lot of other people that have become legally an organic winery. You guys are one of the first to even think about doing that, were you not?
I wouldn't say we were the first, but we certainly didn't jump into the game late or anything. There's quite a history of organic farming out here from probably some names that maybe you guys haven't heard of, but Charlie Barra has been doing it, he says, by default since the 1960s. The Fry family, which is, they actually make organic non-sulfite added wine, have been doing it since the 1980s. And so I think a lot of the term organic really hasn't been recognized so much until it really got kind of trademarked by the USDA, and you need to get that third-party certified approval for use of it on a label of wine or food or whatever it might be. But a lot of the farmers here in Mendocino County have been farming that way since they started. They just didn't find a need to apply herbicides and pesticides and fungicides that would knock them out of being qualified for organic. So I wouldn't say we're the first, but we're in the thick of it, definitely.
Well, I need to tell you, Mark, we are tasting tonight your Sauvignon Blanc, the 2010. We're also tasting the 2010 Cabernet Sauvignon, and then we're going to the 2008 Paul Dolan Vineyards Deep Red. That is a nice little combination of Primitivo, Syrah, Petit Syrah, Grenache, all blended together. And we have some wonderful foods to go along with that. I want to thank you very much for your time. I need to let you go and go to commercial break. So we'll be back coast to coast and around the world on the internet when we return right here at McCormick & Schmick in Las Vegas.